All right, say it again.
Watch the last one at the bar.
Y'all subscribe to the Last Ones at the Bar boxing channel, man. We got some boxing fans out there.
Hola, soy Jolie de Medellín y estás viendo las Squad 11 de Bar, el mejor canal de boxeo. Dale me gusta y suscríbete. Y me puedes encontrar en Instagram como Jolie1026 Sánchez. Bye.
Last Ones at the Bar. Exclusively talks about the sport of boxing.
Yes, indeed. Last Ones at the Bar. As I always say, the baddest boxing podcast out. My name is Wilton Henry, and I'm joined by my boy, Lavelle Jackson. Lavelle, what's goody? How you doing, good brother?
Not much, man. I'm doing okay, man. Just enjoying this weekend and staying out of trouble.
That's what's up, man. You got a lot of good things to celebrate. I saw a lot of people from Detroit on that card yesterday. I think that was yesterday. My time is off because I'm out here in Thailand for the next couple of weeks. So hopefully next week, I definitely will tune in to the fights next week, and I'll definitely log on with you. I kind of like it because out here, the fights, like right now, as we record, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. So just imagine all of the fights like Joyce, Clarissa Shields card. I'm watching that as I'm in the bed. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so it was kind of crazy. One thing I did want to point out before we get started is yesterday you had a fight card in the UFC. It had it was Edwards and Muhammad. I forget the guys' first names, but that was the headliner. And so going into the fight, I saw a lot of people. They were looking at different betting companies like Sportsbook, or I should say BovadaSportsbook.com, which had Edwards a 2-1 favorite going into the fight, which he lost. But the crazy thing is that was the first time I had a chance, like, just to check out UFC fully. Like the preliminary, not the preliminary card, but the co-main event, and also saw the main event. And I must say this, man, that if boxing gets its act together, UFC can't mess with boxing. they really can't, because the skill level is just way different. And I think that if boxing fans come together, stop worried about the money aspect. Now, I'm on that now because that's what other people are on. So if you're going to like use that as a barometer as far as who's supposed to fight each other, then that's the conversation that we're going to have. But my core, I want the best fighters to fight the best fighters. And unless we all on the same page, that's just not going to happen. But like I said, it was a good fight, competitive fight. And Edwards, he lost, but he came back towards the end and tried to, re-establish himself as the champion, but he couldn't do it. Like the last 15 seconds, he kind of got an elbow to Muhammad, but Muhammad held on, and he ended up winning the unanimous decision. But shout out to them. I just want boxing to get his act back together, man. Now, as far as you, man, how was your weekend though? Like, what's been up?
My weekend was cool, man. Took some time relaxing. Hung out with some friends, man. Went to a cookout yesterday, so ate some good food, man. And my life morale increased like 20% because of that.
That's what's up, man. You like old boy on Poetic Justice for real. You've been going a lot of little barbecues.
Yeah, I'm Cub Pete, man.
But check this out though. Was it actually a family or friends that you knew, or did you just?
No. I knew him. Yeah. So I wasn't a stranger. Yeah.
That's what's up, man. So for me, man, we talked a little bit off here. I had a very, it was not stressful, but it just was the end of the year. You know what I mean? As far as I had a couple of interviews, finishing up, the last few things for the summer. So it was kind of stressful, so fortunately, I always try to set up a nice little trip in the summer after summer camp, and so that's what ended up happening. So the other day I flew into Doha, which is in Qatar. And so they got that big fluffy Teddy Ruxpin looking teddy bear up in the airport. But that's a nice, very modern city, like one of the most modern airports you're probably going to, go to. And then shout out to Al Maha, their lounge, because at their lounge, man, you get some really good food, whatever it is that you want in there, you know, and it's delicious, man. So, but that was a really good experience. And then I want to say that was yesterday morning. I ended up coming over here to Thailand, so that's going to the Bangkok area. And this morning I had me a nice little latte. I actually had two of those bad boys. I had one hot, one cold, and then I had me a delicious Thai omelet. That was delicious. It's I don't know what. And then later on, man, check this out. All of the stuff that I'm showing you, I probably did this for like $22 tops. So I got this right here. I got me a massage on that bed right there. Those are the young ladies right there. So you get a nice little Thai massage. Now, mind you, the massage like an hour and a half. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm down there telling her, like, can I go? Like, can I leave? I'm limber. I'm a noodle. And they stretch you like a pretzel. You know, as small as they are. Come downstairs, I get my toes done. So I did all of this, man. You know, and that was probably about, less than 30. I went to 7-Eleven. I got, it's all type of stuff I got, man. Everything is just so dirt cheap out here. People are so nice. And so this is where I'm staying at. This is the little rooftop gym. Tomorrow I'll go in there in the morning. I took a couple of days off because everything I do, I come back and take me a little nap. So I'm trying to get adjusted to the time. Because right now it's Monday, like I say here. And then right here is the views from
Okay. All right.
That's the views from the top. That's the 30th floor. And then up top is the pool, actually. So it's a cool little deal, man. So, yeah, man, make sure you hit the like, subscribe button. If this is just early on, I'll be back on the 7th. When I go back, I'm flying through, and I'll be in Tokyo for not a couple of days, but for about 13 hours. So I'll have an opportunity to have me some noodles, and then also I want to have some sushi out there in Japan. Just like I'm having pad thai here. You understand what I'm saying? There's nothing like having those dishes in the homeland.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But anyway, we'll keep moving forward. I don't think we need that right there. I think it's understood where we stand when it comes to the profanity. We can't have it any way, shape, or form. And so I think, like I said, that's understood. Bill, we got the topic of the day real quick before we go to what it is we're going to be discussing. Hip hop, brother. Hip hop. So this right here, I want to say this like 2001, sir. 2001, you had these bangers right here. They don't need the ad lib, sir. So these are actual hip hop albums of 2001. Do you have any favorites on here? Like, what's your top three?
The Fix.
Okay.
The Fix, Godson, and the Eminem Show.
Oh, you got that Detroit stuff, man.
Hey, you gotta have Detroit.
Always got to be a homer. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I'll say for me, I'm definitely gonna go that Nas Lost Tape. It's a couple gems on there that I love. The next one I'm gonna go with Cam, and then I go with the Fix. But that's all good hip hop, though. You know,
Yeah.
What you gonna say?
I said the Fix is one of those albums, man. It's so good as like it's so well put together. Sometimes I don't like even listening to it because it's like I know that it's hard to match an album like that. And I felt the same way. I remember feeling this exact same way when Outkast came out with Aquemini. Like it was just so like good from start to finish. And I knew when the Fix came out that it was a classic.
Okay. You know what? I'm gonna bump a little bit of that. But some people love the Fix like that. You know what I mean? It's some other Scarface CDs that he put out that I was more of a fan of, but that's probably a best body of work, like all together. You know what I'm saying? But we'll see. I'm gonna revisit the Fix. Also, let me go ahead and get to this chat real quick. You got Shelton up in there. I see somebody likes the exotic. I don't know what Shelton referring to, folks. Let's go ahead and go to the next one. It says Bilal Muhammad pulled it off. Absolutely, man. He certainly did. And like I said earlier, he was a 2-1 underdog going into that fight. But shout out to him, man. The fella from the Midwest as well, from Chicago, or at least that's what he represents. Beautiful brother, enjoy. Thank you, Shelton. Again, that exotic stuff. I don't know what you're talking about, sir. I'll put that link in the chat because we got a lot to discuss, man. Sheldon always come through with some really good, valuable points. So let me go ahead and go here. All right, donations always accepted. Let me slide through. All right. Now, bam. Let's recap. Vail, we're going to go ahead and take this back to your hometown yesterday. I saw Dej Loaf in the building. I saw, man, it was just a whole Detroit thing. Now, check this out, though, Vail. Nowadays, when younger people are successful or they end up performing well, is it customary for them to wear buffs after they finish, their performances? Is that a customary Detroit type thing?
Yeah, they're gonna wear, but they're gonna wear they Cartiers or some of my boys call it like, man, they give me some yays, they gotta wear them yays, man.
Okay, that's what's up. So yesterday you got the quote coming in there, thick as a Snicker. You understand what I'm saying? But she ended up having an impressive second round KO victory over LePage Joyce. And she wins the heavyweight title as well as the light heavyweight title all in one, kind of like a Sugar Ray Leonard, Donnie Lalonde type situation. And so also in this fight, going into it, Clarissa Shields, according to the BovadaSportsbook.com, she was a 4-1 favorite going into the fight. Well, what did you think about Clarissa's performance? It was outstanding, but what did you see?
Yeah, it was outstanding, and I knew she was gonna dominate this fight, but I guess she, had some power with that, moving up in weight. It could be a lot of things. It could be inactivity for Joyce.
No. Let's stick to the positive. Let's stick to
I'm sticking to the positive.
Stick to
Shields, accomplishment wise, she's the GOAT. There's no point. It's no argument about that. She's the GOAT. No other woman boxer in history stands up to her. No matter who you put up in there.
I would venture to say, Vail, I mean, right now, men too. You know what I'm saying? Like we got to just lump her in with everything.
Oh yeah. She's gonna. If it's anybody's gonna be on that list of all-time greats, if you're gonna make an argument, you can make the argument with her. Two-time Olympian. Yeah, two-time Olympian. Saying she's going and she's taking some of a lot of people were, a lot of people online was throwing dirt on her resume, saying she fights tomato cans and all that. I mean, nobody was saying that about Savannah Marshall before she fought her. They were saying Savannah Marshall's gonna knock her out. And she's proven the distractors wrong. She moved up to heavyweight, light heavyweight and heavyweight, and a lot of people were hoping that she was gonna lose, and she didn't lose. She went out there. They said they used to complain that she didn't have power. She showed power, and now people are still complaining and hating on her. Now I even read that some people are even admitting why they're hating on her. Saying she's just so arrogant. Well, you the GOAT, you can be that. You know what I'm saying? You can be that. She showed you power. Now you still got something to complain about. Now they want to say, talk about what she looked like and all that stuff. It's just garbage to me.
I said, listen, man. Well, I'll tell you one thing she does have. That's a wagon. I tell you that.
So she pulled it off. Saying, I mean, John Elise just came at the fight just wrong with it, fighting the wrong style. She didn't have the height or length, that you would think a heavyweight.
What was she gonna do, man?
I mean, if you bigger, you at least throw a jab. She went right at Clarissa Shields trying to overwhelm her, and Shields is so poised and so sharp. I mean, that's the wrong thing to do because as soon as she started hitting her with counter left hooks and hitting her with those sharp shots.
Immediately.
Yeah, immediately them legs started turning noodles, And then the second round, I mean, she went. Joyce already felt Shields' power, and she went at her anyway. Went at her against the ropes, and Clarissa would just start throwing them firepower combinations, and it was like watching, Floyd Mayweather against when he dropped Diego Corrales with that first combination, just pow 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 pow, and he just went down. So
pause right there, good brother. Let's go ahead and get Shelton up in here, man. You cooking? I just want to make sure you pause for a minute. Okay. So, how you doing, good brother?
Good brother. I hope you enjoying yourself out there.
Can't help but to, sir. If you don't enjoy yourself out here, man, you just miserable. Man. You just the Cruz. You understand what I'm saying? After this is over with, I'm gonna take me a little nap and I'm gonna go back out. You see what I'm saying? Like it's just nice.
Yes.
But anyway, How you doing? And then also talk to me about the quote, man. We trying to keep the energy.
I'm doing good, man. It was like, it's just like we talked about last week, man. The girl was too long, too fast, too skilled. It was a mismatch from the gate. I mean, I watched Jordan's fight. I went back and watched her fight, and she's gonna beat her up. I'm surprised at the power, but then again, maybe not, because I'll say this: that 174.8 look good on Clarissa now, don't it?
It does. She's filled.
She might need to stay up there. I mean, if I was the fiance, I'd be like, hey, don't go back down. You stay right here. Stay right here. I like this right here. But there's no competition in the women's division for her, man. She's the best now, probably the best ever, more than likely. Now, just because she has the most accolades ever doesn't mean she beats Layla Ali, Ann Wolf, or any of those people. We don't know that. We'll never know. But as far as accolades, nobody can come close to her. She's the best ever. And I don't even know where she goes from here. What is left for her to do?
Yeah. Well, we can get to that. That's a very good question. You know what I mean? That's the obvious question moving forward, because it's kind of thin out there. She does have some options, but I want to make sure I stay focused. And before we get to that, though, like I said, that's a very good point that you make, a very good question. I do want to say this, man. First and foremost, after seeing her yesterday, I think she might whoop Keith Thurman, man. That might be going a little bit too far, but I will say a couple other things about the quote. This is what I do like, man, is that, see, in sports now, the women are behaving like how we wanted the men to behave. Right? She wants all the smoke. She's taking on challenges, moving up here, willing to go back there, calling out. If you say you're great, I want to see you. You need to see me because I'm the GOAT. That's the mentality that we want to see. You see what I'm saying? The irony is that when I'm looking at like WNBA, I see their all-star game is so competitive. They're playing and hustling and going for loose balls and being physical and that sort of thing. Isn't that what we want from the men? And so that's the irony of the whole situation, is that this lady right here is emblematic of what we want in our sport. And like I said from the start, at the beginning of this broadcast, is that if you had that, then it wouldn't even be competition between boxing and UFC, because boxing has too much talent and it's too much skill involved, where it would blow the UFC out of the water. But anyway, getting back to the quote, very good performance. The fact that now she doesn't have to worry about making weight. She can sit down in the punches. She's way too fast. It's kind of like a Roy Jones when he moved up to light heavyweight. Like, he probably still could make 168 and lower weights, but he was just still so powerful enough and still so quick. He's just way too quick for the bigger guys. And that's the thing that she's going to have over the heavyweights, is she's going to be hitting them way too quickly. She's going to be hitting them way too accurately on that chin. And they're more lumbering than she is. Now, as far as the Layla Ali and fighters of the past, in those weight classes, there would have been challenges. Like, there would have been very difficult fights for Clarissa Shields. In those earlier fighters' defense, I think that they didn't have the luxury, or they weren't in a similar situation where it wasn't nobody there. Like, if I can just go up the heavyweight and fight this fighter, I can go down, but it's more competition at that time. But that wasn't something that people were doing. She's kind of carving out her own kind of niche when it comes to this sort of thing, as far as women is concerned. But yeah, so that I think that lends to the next thing, the obvious thing. Where does she go? What would you like to see her do next?
So the question is really, should she go to heavyweight, because she's really not a heavyweight? And I say no, she should stay at light heavyweight. But she's not going down. She's just staying at. Don't go down. Don't go to 160 or anything like that. Just stay at 175 where you at. Just stay there. I know there's more attractive fights probably at the lower weight class because they're, bigger names. But a lot of those ladies that have those names are way too small for Clarissa Shields. Right. And that's going to always be the issue with her. So if I were her, I wouldn't Roy Jones this up. Just fight your fights at light heavyweight and then call it a day. You get your money, call it a day, and you could be the GWO.
Yeah, you don't think that she'll be competitive, or she should stay like mess with the heavyweights and try to unify them?
I mean, she can pick and choose. I haven't really got a sense of the
That
heavyweight.
don't sound like sis.
No,
that don't sound like sis.
She won't smoke. She won't smoke. Yeah. But I think 175
you gotta remember too, Val. You gotta remember too, Val. There is no cruiserweight in the women's division, so anything over 175 is heavyweight.
Right.
So you don't have to be 200 pounds to be a heavyweight.
Yeah, so if she fights some girl that's like 230 pounds, and she just like what she would walk in and fight 180. You know what I'm saying?
But how many girls are 230 pounds, and who's out there? That's what Will is saying. There's nothing out there.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing out there. Any smoke that she wants is at a lighter weight where she's too big for those girls. So really, for me, I think she should just go ahead and go back to PFL, get her bag, call it a day, because there's nothing left for you to do in boxing unless somebody steps up. But who is it? Who?
That's
everybody else. She already beat.
She not gonna let it go because she got way too much fighting spirit. For her to be caught, like I'll fight anybody for 100,000 or whatever it is she was gonna give, like on the streets. Like I'll fight anybody.
I saw that. I saw that, Will, and that was pathetic the way she did that girl. She beat that girl from Pillar to Post.
I saw that too. That was wrong.
She beat that girl from Pillar to Post.
Yeah, man. Shout out to GWO, man. Let's go ahead and give her praise, man. She's worthy of putting the buffs on after that fight. You know what I mean? Because she did her thing. Put on, man. Like she in the audience before the fight, messing around. She got Dej Loaf coming out. Dej Loaf did her thing too. You know what I'm saying? Let it try me. Then they had like the band playing and all of that stuff. So it was a whole event, man. It's like she was Roy Jones in it. You know what I'm saying? You remember how Roy Jones came out and he had like Method Man and Red Man, and it's a whole production, man. Shout out to the GWO, man. That was I don't care what Vail, all of that ignorant stuff people said. I don't like her. Well, you don't like her, but what at the end of the day, call her two-time undisputed or however many times she's been undisputed, but you're also gonna call it a light heavyweight and heavyweight champions, along with the middleweight championship as well. Man, come on, man. Stop hating. And the same people who say stuff like that, oh, Conor McGregor is my favorite fighter.
Right.
Man, get up out of here with all that. But yesterday too, you know, for me, it was like 5 a.m. I want to say. This fight was on. And you fellas had already dug a grave for Derek Chisora War.
I did.
Yeah, y'all had
no, if you remember last week, I didn't. I told you
somebody picked Chisora. I mean, somebody picked Chisora. I think it was what did you show?
It was me. Okay, I told you. That and the sad thing is, Will, I should have told the bookie. That's who I should have told.
That's what she should have did. And like we said, Chisora, he stuns Joyce in the thrilling heavyweight upset at the O2 Arena. Joyce coming into the fight was a 9-2 favorite according to Bovada Sportsbook. Listen, you listen to the victor go to spoil. So Shell, we're gonna go ahead and start off with you. What you see yesterday, man? How was he able to pull it off? Because
Joe Joyce is slower than molasses in the wintertime and has no defense. All Chisora had to do was sit back, let him throw them lumbering shots, and when he missed, make him pay. What did you see? Every time he threw those shots, when Chisora made Joyce miss, he made Joyce pay. And then the dropping him, that was the icing on the cake. Once he dropped him, it was over. The fight was over. Because he had been catching him clean all night with him right here.
Check this out, though, Sheldon. The man be looking out of it though. Like I'm almost about to go ahead and dig his grave. I'm like, this dude just falling around the ring. The next thing I know, he mustered up some energy and he throwing these big right hands. The man is
that's his style. That's his style. He looks like you hear him in the corner. He breathing like a Mack truck. But come out fighting. You know, the one thing you have to give Del Boy gonna come out and fight. Am I right?
He got hard.
He gonna fight. He may not win, but he's gonna fight.
And he won't smoke. Like that's what he want. Like whoever it is you put out there, Del Boy is willing to fight him and giving it his all too. You know what I'm saying? But what about you, Vail? What you see, man?
I mean, well, this fight, I mean, I saw sort of what you guys saw, but I saw a closer fight where I think Joyce was giving,
close.
Yeah, Joyce was giving him that work, especially in the first half, where I think the second or third round, I was like, man, if this fight keep going this way, man, Chisora corner might pull him out. It's just that Chisora did certain things that kept him in the fight, and what made him win this fight, which is the difference is he was a little bit faster. They both slow, but he was a little faster. He throw his shots were more counter shots. He would throw that counter right hand over and catching Joyce slipping where Joyce didn't move his head at all. And Chisora did use head movement, and he used upper body movement when Joyce would use throw those slow looping shots. Chisora would use that upper body movement to evade a lot of those shots. So even when he was hurt, he was moving his head. He was moving around and making Joyce work harder. So even in the second half of the fight, I think it was round 8 where Joyce hurt Chisora pretty bad, and had he done it earlier, he might have been able to get Chisora out of there. But Chisora just shows so much heart in fighting back and using those counters.
Which round were you talking about?
Round 8, I think that.
Yeah. He hit him on the left hook.
Joyce hit him on the left hook, and then the 9th round, Joyce got caught with one of the right hand counters again, which Chisora got him and knocked him down. And at that point, I was like, hey, Chisora's back in this fight, win or lose. It's a close fight, and this knockdown could make a case for winning the fight, and it did. He won the fight, and it's a testament to his fighting spirit, his heart. He said he got one or two big fights.
We're gonna talk about it. Yeah,
still in that fight, he took a lot of punishment, so you still got to wonder. But hats off to him.
Hey, Vail, you don't have the right to question that man anymore. You understand?
I don't question his heart. I don't question anything about his heart, but it's just that we want to protect people too.
He's worried about his health, his well-being after the sport of boxing, man.
Yes, yes.
And listen, he's gonna finish these fights if he's able to recover and have his 5 guys, his little burger, and all that type of stuff. Man, that's just who he is. I'm gonna go ahead and get Scotty's comment up in here because that's my man. Scotty's out here in Thailand as well. Hopefully, if I get a chance to get out to the Bangkok, we can go ahead and get together. He says credit to Shore, but he had some help rounds 9 and 13 seconds short, and Chisora was out on his feet. Yeah, he was. Sometimes, you get the luck of, the higher power. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I like what I saw. It was a close fight. No ifs, ands, buts about it. Close. It's just that Chisora, he used every ounce of his experience. He used the fact of what Joyce is deficient at, and like Shelton was talking about how slow he is, and he's kind of like, if Joyce would have just boxed and jabbed, kept that stick on him, and then worked off that jab more, I think he would have been more effective. By him not doing that and trying to get Chisora out of there, it just played against what it is that he should have been doing, and that's what enabled Chisora to be successful. What I also like, in addition to what you fellas mentioned, is that Chisora, he uses that angle. Like, it's a certain angle that he's fighting at, so sometimes it's kind of difficult to get to him. And that also helped him, get the victory, get the nod in this fight. I'm going to read off some of these not scorecards, but some of the punch stats. 13 seconds short on time is suspicious. Oh, yeah, they did have like 13 seconds left. I did see that. It's like they rung the bell. You absolutely right. War. Okay, we got that. And then here's the punch stat. So this is what made the fight so close, is the fact that Joyce was more active. He threw 887 punches to Chisora's 610. Joyce landed more. Wasn't as accurate, but he landed 332 punches to Chisora's 301. And then it says the punches, high impact. See, that's where Chisora got the nod to me, was the fact that what they would consider high impact punches, like power punches, that he landed 268 to Joe Joyce's 136, and the accuracy rate was greater for Derek Chisora at 50% to Joyce's 37%. And so I think that that's where the fight was won. Last but not least, after this victory, this is what he wants, man. Chisora, he said, man, I want a trilogy with Dillian White. What do you think about that?
That's one fight I wouldn't be mad at him taking, because Dillian White is kind of, been some wars too, and on the downside. I just looked at Dillian White had a few later better nights, but with this victory that Chisora just had, I'm not sure I would favor Chisora in a fight per se, but it's a level that I think Chisora can compete on and possibly win it. So
yeah, that'll be a good one. What about you, Sheldon? I'm also going to go ahead and put that link in there, bro. Scott, if you want to go ahead, I know Derek Chisora and Joe Joyce, those your blokes. You love those good guys. So, it'd be interesting to see. I know that you think that's kind of controversial with the extra 13 seconds that they ended up ringing the bell. But if you want to come up here and share your thoughts, that'd be greatly appreciated. What about you, Sheldon?
Yeah, I think that that's a fight I would pay to see. I would like to see Joyce and Chisora and Dillian White, because I believe they both at around the same level. It'll be a good competitive fight. Nobody's going to have to look for anybody. Yeah, I would love to see it. At this point, I'm over the people talking about the old boy got these losses. I don't care how many losses he got. At this point, that man can do whatever he wants, because if you don't know anything else about Derek Chisora, he's gonna give you a fight.
Listen, man, and he's gonna give you a fight. He's gonna be an exciting fight. He's not gonna cheat you.
Exactly. He's gonna give you a fight, because we know now. At this point, we know he's not doing it for the money, because he already has money.
What about this fight? What about this fight? I'm gonna get Scotty on here. Scotty, you always welcome to come in, say what you got to say, and leave. You understand what I'm saying? You got that. Always gonna have that option here at Last Ones at the Bar. But before I get you on, good Scotty, great Scott. I'm gonna say this. What about this? Derek Chisora and Deontay Wilder. What would you think?
I wouldn't put him in there. He got a chance to win it, but getting caught with a bomb by Wilder over and over again, I don't like that.
Listen, man,
Will Wilder take the fight? Will Wilder take the fight is the question. Because Wilder got a chance to get knocked out too. We've seen him stretched out.
He does. But I'm more concerned about Derek Chisora's health than Deontay Wilder's in that fight. Even though I can see Chisora knocking Wilder out, I can see that scenario. Yeah.
Did you see Wilder what he did in his last fight though, bro? When he got hit?
Yeah. Talking about concerned about somebody else. Did you watch the last fight?
I saw it. Who was that against though?
Listen, man, it don't matter. It's once your
doesn't matter, bro.
Yeah, once your noodles get scrambled, or your eggs get scrambled. All right, so now let's go ahead and bring the man in the middle. Scotty, how you doing, good fella?
Good, and welcome to Thailand, Wilton. I hope you have a pleasant stay here. And yeah, Sawadee Cup. Yeah, you're going to find out what it's all about. It's your first visit here, yeah?
Between me and you, yes. I don't want the good people out here to know that, but yes.
Enjoy. Yeah, so it was pretty late, I think it was the main event was I think it was 5:30 or around about 5 a.m. or close to 5:30, I think, by the time in the morning, by the time we got going. And I know I always check the odds before the fight and, the week before. And, Joyce was a heavy favorite, and he deserved to be favorite. But there was some real late money moves for Chisora, which, the late money doesn't always land, but when you get a significant shift in the odds and all the money was for Chisora, I thought, well, what's happened here? Well, Joyce weighed in pretty heavy, I think at 284. I thought, maybe that's affected the betting market, whether people didn't like him coming in too heavy. But I'm not going to put a conspiracy theory on this, but round 9, and you can go and check it, was 13 seconds short. Now
What?
that's round 9 was 13 seconds short.
Mm-hmm.
So Chisora, although he scored the knockdown, Joyce wasn't hurt by that knockdown, and Chisora by that stage, Joyce got back on top. I think the knockdown happened in the first half of round 9 anyway. But towards the end of round 9, Chisora, he was running away, like literally running. He just didn't have anything left, and who knows what can happen? Maybe not. Maybe the result would have been the same. But this is heavyweight boxing, and it just takes one punch to change the outcome of a fight. And when you're going to rob a guy who's on top, and Joyce was on top at the end of that round, and when you're going to steal 13 seconds of him, that has to be questioned. It hasn't been picked up on mainstream media, but a few of the guys that I speak to, they spotted it as well and went, yeah, what was that about, But and then I realized afterwards that Chisora had, because he's been a kind of a mercenary, he hasn't been signed with anyone, but I didn't realize he'd signed with Frank Warren and Queensbury prior to the fight. So, maybe it was in their interest that Chisora was going to get the win. Maybe they knew that Joyce, he doesn't pull the numbers like Chisora does, especially with the fans and the buys and stuff like that.
Chisora is definitely a fan favorite out there. They love him to death, as they should. And as you mentioned that, I noticed that, and I also noticed that the announcers didn't say anything. I'm like, dang, it's like by the time they ended up saying something, it was about 10 seconds left, but it did ring around 13, 12 or so, and it was still a lot of time. I shouldn't say a lot of time, but it was definitely over 10 seconds left. Like you said, about 13, 12-ish seconds, and they didn't say anything. They just kept talking and things like that, and I was wondering, I'm like, they not like, dang, it's still more time left. So that does leave you scratch your head if they really wanted to see Joyce or Chisora be successful.
Well, it's a big story, isn't it? Like people were expecting Joyce, but now especially in the UK and people that watch heavyweights, it's a big story. So it had the desired outcome. But in saying that, I don't know if Joyce deserved to win. His tactics, or I didn't hear what his corner were telling him, but he just wasn't using his height and reach to his advantage. He was, he was fighting Chisora's fight, and it was, it was pretty hard to watch, really. It was entertaining, but Joyce just. The guy, he might be shot after the Zhang losses, but we're talking about a guy that totally destroyed Joseph Parker, 18 months ago, was it? I don't know. I can't keep track of time that well, but it wasn't long ago. The same guy that absolutely destroyed Parker. He's like a shell. So whether he's a shot fighter or whether he's got a bad trainer, but he said he's going to fight on, and he'll maybe one payday left for him. Who he would fight, I don't know, but Chisora Wilder, yeah, I'm up for that. I like it.
So the last thing, Scotty, again, appreciate you stopping through, is that's the question that I was going to ask all of you guys is, what's next for Joyce? Because like you said, he wants to fight on. Like for me personally, I don't see it ending well, because he was in a situation, and you just alluded to it a second ago. He took the Zhang fight and then the fights with Jelly Zhang, and he had that inner belief in himself. Now, I don't believe in guys ducking, this guy or ducking that guy. I just thought at the time that he fought Jelly John, I don't think that it was necessary for him to fight him at that moment because he was already pretty much the mandatory.
He was the mandatory. He was WBO mandatory, wasn't it? Yeah, he was WBO mandatory. Yep.
So I felt like at that, and then that style matchup, I'm like, wow, like you really want to take on that monster right there. And regardless of what you think about Jelly Jones, to me, it's just a bad style matchup because he's a lefty, he's big, he's strong, he's accurate, and Joyce is not hard to hit. The only thing for him, if he was going to be able to withstand what Zhang did to him, which I never see anybody, Zhang always knocks dudes down like or hurt him early. Everybody is unless you're able to withstand that and get to maybe the mid to late rounds, then you might be able to do something with Jelly John, but you won't have to go through hell to get there. And so I just didn't know why he would do that at that particular time, being the mandatory. But now, where he is now, the problem is his attributes, it's hard to teach him something different because for one, he's so slow. Two, I think he could be all right if he would be better if he was just more relying on his jab, like his 1-2, kind of like an old George Foreman where you use the jab, then you blind him with the jab and then you come across with the big right hand and they just keep people at bay, in that manner. And then kind of rev it up towards the end. He's always going to be easy to hit. It's just now his confidence is bad, is shot. So I don't know where he goes from here. If he's going to make a comeback, who would you like to see him face next? And that goes for everybody. That's showing. Scotty, you can go ahead and do what it is you need to do. Where you going to say, Scotty?
I think what Joyce has got up his sleeve, if he wants to keep going, he can. If he's a potential rematch there with Dubois, which is a money spinner, providing Dubois gets beat by AJ, let's say. That's a perfect comeback fight for Dubois. If he gets beat by AJ in any manner, he's got that. They've got a rivalry there, so that's a fight that makes money. And there's also a few guys on the come up in the British boxing scene. You've got the likes of Wardley, Johnny Fisher, David Adelaide. Guys that can look to use Joyce as a stepping stone. And it's not without some risk, by the way, for these guys either. Joyce is still dangerous, but he's got one more fight left in him. And Chisora, well, he's earned the right to keep going. If that's what he wants to do, he'll keep going.
Gotcha. I got you. Scotty, anything else you want to touch on, man? I know you out here right now. It's almost 2:00 out here in Thailand.
No, thanks for having me on. And listen, when you're, I'm sure you're going to be around the beach in Phuket at this time of year. Just be careful with the riptides there and swim between the red flags and stuff like that. There's people tourists drowning there every day. Just check out the Bangkok Post. It's not a good time of year to be, especially on the east coast of Phuket. So if you're swimming and you're a smart guy, but just use your common sense. And it's a dangerous time of the year to be in choppy waters there in the beach. Stay safe and enjoy Thailand.
Yeah, I was about to say this, Scotty, before you leave, man. I apologize on making that mistake with the green machine. I meant the other,
the mean machine, Kavliauskas. Yeah, I got you.
I kept saying the green machine, but also when it comes to the beach, man, in the United States, we say peas up, everybody else down. If you can't swim, then you bound to drizzle. All right, Scotty, man, you go ahead and take care, man. All right.
Thank you. Take care.
Man.
Bye,
my man. Scotty, right there, ladies and gentlemen. And then we also got Marky Dan in the building. Marky Dan, what's goody? Marky Dan got that. He got that Wi-Fi. You understand what I'm saying? He out there in the Caribbean. Sometimes they come in delayed reaction. So we'll get back to Marky Dan if he's still here. Sheldon, we still got you.
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. Yeah. I got a name that I'd like to see Joe Joyce fight. How about Joe Joyce and Frazier Clark?
Joe Joyce and who?
Frazier Clark, up and coming heavyweight in the UK. That's a guy they can throw in there with Joe Joyce. Frazier Clark. Or
how's he look to you?
You know, he just fought Wardley twice.
Okay. Yeah, I think.
You know what else?
Yeah,
because I don't see Joe Joyce. I don't see Joe Joyce after yesterday's loss. That's 3 losses in a row. I don't see Joe Joyce on the international stage anymore just yet.
Nah, he's just gonna be
whoever that
the guy you just mentioned. He's just gonna be eating on Joe Joyce carcass. That's all. What about you, Bill?
I say you should leave some of these young guys alone. Fight somebody like a Dillian White. You know, I think that's a similar level to Derek Chisora. A fight that he was in the fight. It's not like he was getting mollywopped. Also, he most likely would lose this fight, but it's a good story and money fight for him if a rematch with Joseph Parker, because it's that story that he did beat Joseph Parker and Parker has improved. That might be enticing to Parker to take. So his options are still there.
If I was him, I would have fought Chisora in a 12-round fight. I would have made sure that
yeah, he would stop him there probably.
Yeah, he wasn't gonna make it all 12 if he did that. So just little things like that, little logistical things that you got to make sure you're on point with, you know, when you're fighting guys. But he probably just thought that he's gonna get Chisora up out of there once he started landing some of them rights and lefts. But you know, we'll see, man. I'm gonna go ahead and keep it moving. That's good conversation right there that we had. My computer is bugging. I might have to restart. And so, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah, man, go ahead and
yeah, I got you, brother.
Thank you, sir. I'll be right back.
So, Shell, tell me about this Frazier Clark.
Frazier Clark's a big guy. He's not as slow as Joyce, but he's in that slow realm. But he got a good jab. He got a good chin. You know, he's a good domestic level UK fighter. You know what I'm saying? And I believe that's what Joe Joyce is going to have to be relegated to until he can, you know, maybe get a fight with somebody who wants to fight him. I mean, and we keep forgetting the major problem for Joe Joyce is that he's 38 years old, bro. So Joyce is not a young guy.
So you're going to put him in there with a young gun that's like undefeated. That's about as big as he is almost.
Well, who else? I mean, who else is he going to fight? I mean, the thing with Joe Joyce is he's known. He's a known commodity. So you have a name like Joyce.
Put him in there, Robert.
You can't go backwards. He can't go backwards. He needs to fight guys on his level or above it, or he needs to retire because he can't make no money fighting the guy that's 4-0. And if you're not making no money, why you want to be in there at this late stage of your life?
Yeah.
It's not like he's 28. He's 38. You see what I mean?
Yeah,
that's the difference. If he was 28, I say, hey, work your way back up. But Joe Joyce don't have the time to work his way back up. He's 38.
So how many more fights you see Derek Chisora taking before he call it quits?
Maybe 1 or 2. I mean, but Joe Joyce is not in the Derek Chisora. He's not in the position Chisora's in because Chisora's already rich. He's already sitting on like about $8-9 million.
Okay.
So he's rich. He can do what he wants. Joe Joyce is not like that.
Appreciate you fellas, man, for that great dialogue. But then check this out with Chisora, man. Like he has a mean record, man. This is last 10 fights, man. He fought Fury, Parker, White.
So I know that next week we got the card with Bud Crawford versus Israel Madrimov. I know I messed his name like a normal. So who you like? What do you think is going to happen?
Yo, fellas, can y'all hear me?
I got you, Will. I got you, Will. Go ahead. Run that list down again.
Uh-oh, Will's back.
Y'all can hear me? Yeah, y'all can hear me? Yeah, can you hear me?
I got you, bro. I got you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
No, I can't hear. I can hear you, Sheldon. I can't hear Will.
All right, let me make sure. Let me see.
Yeah, I can hear you, Will. I got you.
Mic, audio, boom. Bill, do this real quick. Bill, can you hear me now?
Hey, Shelton, you hear Will?
Yeah, I got him. I got him loud and clear.
Oh wow,
Bill,
I can't hear him at all. He just loaded.
Yeah, just Bill, log. Just click out and click back in. Tell Bill to click out and click back in.
Click out and click back in, Val. He wants you to log out and log right back in.
All right.
Yeah, while Bill does that, you know, Bill, he's from Detroit, but he got that Flint Wi-Fi. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, McDonald's. I got it.
So this right here from 2011, 2014, Chisora has fought these guys: Tyson Fury 3 times, Joseph Parker twice, Dillian White twice, Pulev twice, Alexander Usyk, Vitaly Klitschko, David Haye, Joe Joyce, David Price, Carlos Takam, Robert Helenius. The man does not shy away from, you know, top level opposition. I'm gonna go ahead and keep it moving. I know Bill, he's gonna be coming back in a second, but we can go ahead. Hey, did you see Julian Smith against Ergachev?
No, I didn't. He fought Hergashev?
He whooped on Ergachev. He won a split decision, but he knocked him down. It was another knockdown that he had, like in the second round.
Wow.
Do you know Julian Smith?
No, I never heard of Julian Smith. Heard of Hergashev. Never heard of Julian Smith.
Yeah, Julian Smith was like you see right there, he was 8-2 coming into the fight. He was coming off of his biggest victory over some guy. I don't know, but they said he won like an upset. Then he got the Ergachev fight. He kept catching Ergachev like this crazy left hand. And then he had Ergachev. You know, Ergachev like the bang. But then he had him like boxing and stuff like that. And he knocked him down again. I want to say like this in the middle part of the fight, but he was impressive in that fight. I don't know if it's just Ergachev's style, if Ergachev just wasn't like on point, you know, whatever. But he did his numbers yesterday. Let me see. Do we got Bell back?
Well, you know, Ergachev. You know, you saw that in the Matias fight. He gonna stand there and trade with you.
Yeah, he got heavy.
One of us gonna go. Yeah, one of us gonna go. Either me or you. And that's just the way he fights, you know what I'm saying? And that can be advantageous in some fights and disadvantageous in others.
And you know what? He couldn't play that game yesterday. He was playing that with Smith. You know, that was the first time, like I seen Ergachev fight. Maybe I saw him fight the fight that he lost against Sabril. Then I saw him fight somebody else. Maybe some highlights. Every time I'm seeing him be aggressive, but he couldn't do that yesterday. Like that was the first time I seen him like actually boxing. You know, and it was interesting to see. I don't know if we got Vail back, man. Vail is having a tough time. I'm gonna put this thing. I don't know if my guy Mark Dan is trying to get up here too. I don't want to slow down the show, man. We got momentum today, you know. So let me go ahead and put that there.
I feel you, bro. I feel you. Hopefully, you brothers can get on, man. It's a good conversation, man.
It's good, and it's needed. You know, it's needed. Shields got me motivated, and that's me yesterday, man. I'm over there checking it out. Laying up, you know what I'm saying? Like
you got the feet out, you just chilling.
I'm chilling, man. Hey, you see the toes right there, not done, but they crisp and clean right now. The lady that waxed it down, you know what I'm saying? So,
oh, look at you.
Say, man, before we go ahead, while Bill is trying to get back together and everything, and hopefully we get Marky Dan on, I just want to send a shout out to Thailand's own, you know, Sora Rumbasai, you know what I mean? Shout out to him. They're the greatest, you know, to do it as far as the power is concerned in a lot of weight classes. Shout out to Sora, man. All right, now, I'm trying to wait for my boy Bill to get back. You over there, you playing around. I don't know what he's doing now. Wi-Fi. We're gonna go ahead and keep it rocking. So we got next week. So this is gonna be the key, man. You got Ruiz season is over there in Los Angeles, California. I want to say at the most. So you got Terrence Bud Crawford, who's a 6-1 favorite according to Box Sportsbook. He's 40-0, 31K. Obviously, they call him Bud. He's 36 years of age. Southpaw, he's a do-it-all southpaw. He can fight orthodox. One of the best switch hitters we got in the game. all time, I would say. You know, he's 5'8", 74-inch reach, represents Omaha, Nebraska. He's going to be facing Israel Madrimov, who's 10-1 brawl with 7 KO. They call him the Dream, 29 years of age, from Uzbekistan, Orthodox fighter, 5'8.5", 66 reach. He's out of Uzbekistan by way of India, California. He's the WB reigning first defense here against Bud Crawford, who he considered the number one powerful fighter. It got to be either him, Usyk, or Monster. You know, my liking, I got Usyk, but regardless of all of that, I don't want to be winning this introduction. Who do you like in this fight, Shelby?
I like Bud. See, because everybody is talking about how big Madrimov is. He's huge. He's big. He's powerful. Blase, blase. Okay, well, they both got to weigh in at 154.
Mm-hmm.
So none of that hugeness that you see in training is going to matter. What's going to matter is the fact that Crawford has fought Madrimov before in different forms, but he's fought the bigger guy before. Whereas Madrimov hasn't fought anything like Crawford. And if Crawford is 75% of what he was a year ago, Madrimov's in trouble. I've seen Madrimov fight. Everybody's trying to make him out to be this slick boxer with all these moves. When the dude fights one way, he comes forward. That's what he does. And we all know what happens to guys. But what we've seen, if Crawford's on point, we've all seen what happens to guys who come forward. Am I right?
Why wouldn't he be on point?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. At 36, almost 37, we don't know. We haven't seen Bud in a year. We don't know when age is going to catch up to you. Sometimes it catches up to you. Sometimes it don't. But we don't know. That's why we want to see the fight. You know, because we all know that Father Time is undefeated. We know that.
Okay. Vail, are you back with us? Oh, wait, so how is he going to win? Like when is it going to be knockout decision? I mean,
Oh, Bud's gonna stop him. He gonna walk him into some shit he don't see coming. Excuse me. He gonna walk him into a shot that he don't see coming. Knock him out. Probably anywhere between 8 and 10. He's gonna stop him.
Okay. What about you, Vail? Are you back?
Yeah. Now I see a scenario where Bud stops Madrimov. I can see that. I definitely can see that scenario. My thing is, Shel, you kind of alluded to this. He's been off for a year. We know he's dedicated, and that could be a good thing or bad thing as far as the year layoff because he's getting rest. But also, and I know he's going to take it seriously. The only thing is he's coming off a real high from beating Errol Spence, which is his best opponent. So I think this is kind of this could be a come to earth moment, for Crawford, considering, and also even though they both gonna be 154, I think Crawford, I don't know what he's gonna look like at that weight, and he hasn't grown into that weight. So Madrimov, he's already accustomed to fighting at that weight. So I do think that there could be some trouble early, and that ring rust may play out. But I think from a style standpoint, I think Crawford's just going to be too sharp and too skilled for Madrimov. But I think Madrimov is going to be used to those type of strong shots. It's those sharp shots is going to catch him slipping. But I do think this is going to be by the second half, Crawford's going to take over and walk Madrimov down. But I don't think he's going to stop him. I have Bud Crawford winning the decision.
Okay. I hear you on that. So here's the deal. You got Bud, like you said, coming off the impressive victory over Daryl Spence Jr., which was a little over a year ago. Madrimov is coming off his most impressive victory over Karbunov in which he scored a 5th round TKO victory. That's the most impressive fight, and that's what I was playing there on the highlights. He looked crisp, and it could be, I don't know if it was the fact that he like started to put everything together because he is a decorated amateur, but also it could be the style matchup that just favored him in that fight. I don't know, but what you can ascertain is that he is he has a sneaky left hook, powerful right hand. He has an awkward rhythm, pretty good footwork, and he has a good jab that he uses upstairs and downstairs that he uses to create his openings and his power shots. Now, that's the good thing. The bad thing for him is his lack of experience at the pro level and also championship fights. He's only had the fight against Karbonov for the belt, for the WBO BA strap. And so you going against Bud Crawford, regardless if he's on another long layoff, he's had 18 championship fights, and he's coming in on like a 10-fight knockout streak at welterweight. Some of the things that we think about with Bud, you always kind of are questioning, okay, is this dude going to be too big, too strong for him? I thought that might have been the case against Porter. Wasn't the case. I thought that might have been the case against Spence, who typically is a big, strong, physical welterweight. Was the case. I thought Jeff Horn might be able to muscle him around. It wasn't the case. So the only guy that I saw who was kind of like tough for him was the Mean Machine, in that regard. But that's, I think, when you talk about him maybe possibly looking past somebody, I think Mean Machine was the guy he may have been doing that, too, when they locked horns against one another. But as Bud does, he made a few adjustments and he was able to get him up out of there. I think this fight is going to be similar in the sense that you got a big, strong guy that he's facing. Bud is not going to take this dude lightly because he has too much at stake, and he's going up to a new weight class. Now, if this was at 147, you got a dude with 10 victories, 11 victories, whatever it is that he has, he might mess around and do that. But he's at the tail end of his career. He's going up to a new weight class. Everybody's talking about how big and strong this guy is. Now, this dude is also probably the hardest hitting guy that he's faced in his career, as I look at his resume. So he's going to be cognizant of that. We know Bud is always, a student of who it is that he's about to fight. So he'll be prepared. Will he be a little bit rusty? Will it be a little bit longer than 2? Will it take him too long to make the adjustments because he's been off so long? That's Madrimov's wheelhouse to victory. But I think that even if he does have some success against Bud and possibly drop him, possibly hurt him, I think that Bud eventually will figure things out, get oriented, and he'll be able to get a victory. And the reason why I say that is because Bud he's somebody who his determination. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, he's just going to be too determined. He's too skilled, and then he just has too many flawless attributes. So when it's all said and done, I think that Bud is going to get probably like a 10th, 11th round TKO victory or knockout over Madrimov. And the last thing I'm going to say, and the reason why I say that, is because Madrimov, when you don't have that many fights at the world-class level, that's going to be the biggest determining factor. Even if you have a lot of success early, are you going to be able to sustain that late in fights? That's the same thing I see with the U.S. Olympic team. Like some teams, they have guys who can play, but can you play at that level all 40 minutes, all 42 minutes, all 48 minutes? And that's a lot of times not the case. And you fighting somebody who has 15-round stamina, somebody, like I said, who has that determination, that undesirable willingness to win, that's going to be the reason why I got Bud winning the 11th round TKO or KO over Israel Madrimov. But it's going to be a good fight. Anything else you guys have before we go ahead and move on to the other fight that's going to be on that big fight card out there?
Not for me, no sir.
No, I think you covered it, brother.
Yeah, you think any way though Madrimov can win this, can pull it off?
He can win if he brings it back.
If he what?
If he brings it back, he can win.
Yeah.
Okay.
I say if he catch Bud slipping early, and when Bud is trying to adjust to him, he catch him slipping early, and he decides to really put it on Bud and drop him, kind of similar to what Machine did, but he's stronger and smarter enough to put his combination together. You can probably get Bud out of there. I just doubt it's a slim chance, but there is a chance that happens. Anybody can get caught slipping.
Well, you know what? The part of me want to say this is that, and it's just the fact that if I'm gonna be honest, and I think that the fight will play out the way it's gonna play out, then that's the more likely scenario, especially if Bud is everything that we think that he is, you know. But if not, if Bud is the guy who I, you know, pegged before as somebody who doesn't like to fight dudes unless the porridge is right, is just right, then he might get knocked off, because this might be the first dude that he faced that isn't compromised. But we'll see. And if so, if he's the first fighter, big, strong, powerful, that Bud's face, then we might have a crawfish bro. All right, so also next week, you got Andy Ruiz Jr. He's going to be going against Big Baby Miller. Uncertain, you know, future hinges on this fight that he has against Miller. You got, you know, the guy Ruiz, he's been off for so long, but going into this fight regardless, he's a 3.5-1 favorite, according to Bovada Sportsbook. He's 35-2 with 22 KOs. They call him the Destroyer. He's 6'2", 74-inch reach. He's about 543 pounds. He'll also be going against somebody that's a slightly heavier, and Gerald Miller, who's 26-1-1, 22 KOs, 1 KO defeat loss in his defeat, and that was in his last fight against Daniel Triple D Dubois. He's 36 years of age, 6'4", 76-inch reach. And so what do you say in this crossroads fights between both guys? Because, you know, the crazy thing about this fight is that kind of the ties to Anthony Joshua. When Ruiz knocked off Anthony Joshua, it was only because Big Baby Miller, who had the fight out there in New York, that he tested positive for a banned substance, which enabled Andy Ruiz to be a short time replacement or a quick replacement, you know, and Anthony Joshua wasn't able to overcome that. And so you had your first Mexican heavyweight champion, but that's their ties. And so now in his crossroads fights to see who's going to move forward in their careers as a contender, you know, to the Usyks and whomever, this is the crossroads fight. Who do you guys like in this fight? Who do you think is going to, you know, be successful when it comes to these heavy fellas?
When this fight first got announced, off what I've seen, I was like Andy Ruiz all day, but he has some things that's working against him. Number one, what's the drug testing rule in this fight? I mean, is this Vada who's doing the drug testing? But especially when you step in the ring with Big Baby Miller. Also, Miller, even though, you know, he's so underperformed, have been underperforming, he's been more active. And Ruiz hasn't fought since, you know, 2 years ago. So there's some ring rust there too. So I think that ring rust is going to play out in this fight, and I do think that the speed advantage of Andy Ruiz is going to play out, and that's where he's going to really, you know, put some hurt on Jarrell Miller if he's even 80% as fast as he used to be. I think Miller has not proven in any way that he's top level. And Andy Ruiz, while undisciplined, he's really shown that he has the ability to compete at the top level. So I have Andy Ruiz win this fight, but I don't think he's going to stop Jarrell Miller. I think he's going to win by decision.
What you say, Sheldon?
Well, I think Andy is just a better fighter than Miller. But Andy's been off for like 2.5 years. So I don't know what Andy's going to show up. And it looks like since Miller's been off the roids, his power's left because he was tagging.
And they need to call him Malignaggi.
Huh?
They should call him Paulie Malignaggi.
Yeah, he's looking like that because he was tagging Dubois all night, and Dubois wasn't going nowhere.
No,
wasn't he worried about what he was throwing? So, I don't know where his power went, but it's not there. According to the Dubois fight, because we know Dubois could be put down. Andy has fast hands. Maybe, I don't know. I haven't seen anything for 2.5 years. I don't know what Andy's going to show up first. So to me, it's a 50-50 fight until they get in there. I give the nod to Andy based on the boxing deal, but right now, Big Baby Miller just fought like 4 months ago, and Andy ain't fought 2.5 years. To me, that's a 50-50 fight. I don't know who's going to win.
But you're going with Andy.
Based on boxing skill alone, yes, I'll go with Andy. Andy is the better boxer.
That's what I'm saying. That's the dilemma that I have. And see, here's the other thing that you fellas didn't mention is the fact that Andy, since the Joshua fight, he's shown a bit of some shaky whiskers. When I saw him fight against Areola hurt him and dropped him. You had Ortiz who was hurting him, And so, again, like you say, that's over 2 years ago that he's last been in the fight. So what's going to happen now that you've been off so long, the first time you get hit with something big, even though Big Baby Miller is not acting, like a Deontay Wilder type hellacious puncher, but he's still a big man, That's a big cause for concern for me as well. I think that if both guys were at their best, I would definitely favor Andy Ruiz. I think Andy Ruiz is like a championship contender level type guy. Like, seriously, I think Big Baby is a guy who can talk his way into one of those type of fights like he did, and shame on him for messing up his bag because he could have really, did well for himself where you don't have to be trying to steal his car, and stuff like that. But I'm gonna be like you fellas, man. I'm just gonna go just based on what I've seen from them last. And unfortunately, the last time I saw Ruiz, that was 2.5 years ago. But I'm still gonna have to favor him over Big Baby Miller, who's not taking performance-enhancing drugs. I don't think he is. Hopefully he's not. So I'm gonna go with Andy Ruiz. So it's gonna be a tic-tac-toe. All three of us is gonna say unanimous decision for the big man out of Imperial, California, and that's going to be Andrew Ruiz. Last but not least, you got one of my favorite guys in the sport of boxing, Isak Pitbull Cruz. I like to call him the Pit Bully. He's going to be facing a gentleman named Valenzuela, who's coming off an impressive victory over Chris Colbert. Going into this fight, you got Isak Pitbull Cruz. He's a 5.5 favorite, 5-1 favorite going into this fight, according to Bovada Sportsbook. Pitbull is 5'4", and Vail used to give him grief. When he was going into the Tank Davis fight. Oh, this guy his arms are smaller, reaches shorter than mine.
I did. I did.
Pitbull out of Mexico City. He's an orthodox fighter, but he brings it each and every time. He's not going to take a backward step. Like I said, Ergashoff yesterday, that was the first time I seen him trying to box once he got hurt. One thing I can guarantee is that Pitbull Cruz is not going to back up. He's not going to be trying to throw a jab and fighting off the back foot. You will never see that in a Pitbull Cruz fight. He's 26-2, 18 KOs. I'm surprised he doesn't have more KOs, the way he be winging those shots. And he also has 1 draw. Also should only have 1 loss. And so he should be 27-1-1 because we all know he beat Tank Davis. All right, so now also we're going to look at Jose Valenzuela.
He beat Tank Davis.
Jose Valenzuela, they call him Rayo. He's 13-2 on 1 KO loss. I think that was against De Los Santos. He has 9 KOs. Nice power, southpaw, 5'10", kind of tall, 70-inch reach. But he's going to make his first foray into the 140-pound weight class when he goes in against that monster, in Pitbull. How do you guys see this fight playing out between Jose Valenzuela and Isak, like I say, the Pit Bully Cruz?
I think it's going to be an exciting fight. I think Jose Valenzuela, he's going to try to use some of his angles and reach of skills that he used against Chris Colbert. The only difference is Isaac Cruz is not Chris Colbert, and he's gonna find out that Chris Colbert just, that power works on him, but it's not. I don't think it's gonna work on Isaac Cruz with the chin that Cruz has. So
y'all say you got a bullet head. That's what y'all say, man. I don't talk about
that's Danny Lee. He got a bullet head. So I think Isaac Cruz is definitely gonna fight like a bull. He's eventually gonna be pressuring Jose Valenzuela, and he's gonna back him up. And I think he's gonna stop Valenzuela around the 10th round.
Before you go, Sheldon, Valenzuela to me is similar to Chisora in the sense he's always in exciting fights. The thing about him is that, well, he wins some of them, but he's still early in his career. It's a little early for him to be, fighting like that. But anyway, what say you, Sheldon? Who you like?
Well, my heart is with El Rayo, Jose Valenzuela, but my head tells me Pitbull is going to win because Pitbull is compact. He keeps his chin tucked. He hits like a truck. And Pitbull has the one thing that you can't buy, you can't teach, and the one thing that gets most good fighters, turns them into elite fighters. Pitbull has confidence. He's confident.
Talk that Pitbull talk.
And as you said, Will, this is El Rayo's first fight at 140. So I think Pitbull is going to, lower his head, use that cross-arm defense, overwhelm El Rayo with those hooks, and eventually stop him anywhere between 7 and 9 for me.
Yeah, Pitbull, man. I'm already gonna go ahead and give my prediction. I think he's gonna get him out of there in the first 6 rounds. I say 6th round TKO victory, but it's gonna be an awesome fight. These guys right here, this makes for a really interesting matchup because I think Rayo is nice. Got good power, and he's tough. I just think that Rayo, he likes to fight too much. And that's unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? Like this you like fighters to fight. But I just think he likes to fight too much. And what I mean by that is that if he gets into a slugfest, it's not like he's going to back down. Sometimes you got to have a little finesse to your game. It's like somebody who considers themselves, well, I'm not going to say that because, again, I don't want the wrong person to see this. And they're like, okay, he's glamour, rising that type of lifestyle. So I'm going to take that off the record as far as what I was going to say. He just likes to exchange too much. You can't do that in this fight. This fight, you're going to need a little bit of finesse. You're going to need a little bit of, bull and matador in you. And so he's going to try to fight fire with fire, which is going to, like I say, it's going to be a pleasing fight. Like, we're going to be excited and we're going to be tuned in. It's going to be like if you had a sports bar or something like this, it'll be like, yay, woo, wow. He might even tag Pitbull a few times. Now, the one thing that's going in Rayo's favor is that when I saw Pitbull fight against, I forgot my guy's name, but he was tall. It seemed like he was having trouble winging those shots against him. And he was missing like some wide shots.
Cabrera.
Rayo's tall. It's just Rayo's right there, though. It's not like he's trying to box you. The other guy, that's his game, is to be, using that your weakest attributes against you. And so that's going to be his demise. But when it's all said and done, it's going to be a shootout. Rayo's going to have some success. But it's kind of like I said before. Rayo is a certain level that he's at that will you be able to sustain that? And you might be able to sustain that against a lot of guys. But Pitbull is a different breed, man. Pitbull is going to lock on you, brother. And once he locks on you, it's a wrap. And once he gets the distance down, when he's winging those shots. And the thing about Pitbull, Cruz, if you can backtrack, if anybody ever knew of a guy back in the day, his name was Buster Drayton. Buster Drayton used to fight at 154 pounds. I remember it was another guy, Matthew Hilton, who used to fight out of Toronto. Matthew Hilton whooped on him because to me, Matthew Hilton was like Canelo before Canelo, but Canelo's better than him. But they kind of look similar and they fight kind of similar to a certain degree. But Canelo's more skilled. But he used to wear like the plaid shorts and stuff. But anyway, with Buster Drayton used to throw some wide winging shots to get in. But that wasn't what he just threw those shots in order to keep you at bay because you got to make sure that you are not going to get hit by the shot, but that's just getting him closer. Once he gets closer than that, then he's going to go ahead and try to go to work and go to town. And that's what Pitbull does. Now, sometimes he might hit you with some of those shots if you get caught slipping, but at the same time, it's just to go ahead, get inside, do my work, and then I'm going to clip you with some stuff on the inside. And he's not going to be able to withstand that coming from 140 for the first time in his career, and you're going against a hellacious puncher. Not one punch fighter, but somebody that can break you down, somebody that's everything's gonna hurt once he hits you. And it's only so much that you can take, especially at your first foray or in your first foray at 140 pounds. So I like Pitbull. He's gonna break him down, and then he's gonna lock. He's gonna lock on Rayo. He's not gonna let go. Referee's gonna wave the fight off. And Pitbull is going to go into a Tank Davis rematch because it's all smoke and mirrors. It's no Shakur. It's no Loma doesn't want the smoke. So they're going to go ahead and do the Pitbull matchup. Tank is going to get an opportunity to win him another belt at 140. And then also in that fight, I'm already give you my early prediction. I like Pitbull to go ahead and KO Tank Davis. So anyway, you got my boy in this corner. That's Ty Finney. Man, Ty was touching base while I was out here in Thailand this morning. Very good guy. They do some good work over there. He's also working with the good fellas. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you check them out. He says next week is going to be an exciting card. Absolutely. Yes, indeed. And that's what we're doing, good brother. We're covering what we think. Who do you like, though? You can put that in the chat if you want to, or you can always come on, Ty, if you want to. But in those 3 fights that we just went ahead and predicted, I know my predictions is on point. You understand what I'm saying? You can go ahead and book it. You're going to go ahead and see Bud Crawford. If Bud is not who we think he is or who I think he is, somebody who's unwilling to fight dudes when they're at their best, then we're going to see a crawfish, bro. You're going to see Madrimov knock him out, stand over him, Ali pose. If Bud is who we think he is, yeah, he'll win like an 11th round TKO victory. Also, you got Andy Ruiz. All of us are picking Andy Ruiz by decision, and then in this fight, somehow, some way, we think that Pitbull. We like Pitbull in this one. Put in the comment section what you think. Legend as well. All right, now make sure you hit the like, subscribe button, man. We cooking today. We moving and grooving. We keeping it up to speed, keeping up the pace. We're not slowing down. I also want to shout out to Scotty70 for coming through and sharing his wisdom with us and his thoughts on the Joe Joyce loss yesterday against Derek Chisora. That's always greatly appreciated his presence. Marky Dan, you can come back through. I know you got that Wi-Fi that's not, it's not. I'm not going to talk too down there because people won't think I'm doing too much if I go ahead and say what it is I was going to say. But anyway, Marky Dan, you're always welcome to come back, good brother. Now, as far as the boxing news, we got a few topics that we're going to discuss, and then we're going to go ahead and wrap things up. First and foremost, you got Canelo. Oh, man, we got the big fight coming up. Mexico versus Puerto Rico is set for September 14th. Get your popcorn ready. Canelo's going into this fight. They might have this messed up now. He's going to be a 16-1 favorite according to Bovada Sportsbook against the heavy-hitting sensation out of Puerto Rico, the exciting Barrica stand up, Edgar Berlanga. What do you guys think, man? Is Canelo biting off more than he can chew in this fight right here?
Not at all. I don't think so. I think Edgar Berlanga was chosen for a reason. I mean, that's no, not at all, not at all. And he's choosing Edgar Berlanga for a reason. And if he's not going to fight David Benavidez, it's like, who are you going to fight? He's not going to fight David Morrell, so who are you going to fight? We kind of saw this coming, and that's why that William Scruggs was kind of thrown out there, so people could be like, oh man, there's like, oh, Berlanga, that's better than William Scruggs, whoever his name is. So here we are again, fighting somebody that is on Jaime Munguia's level or even below that, because Munguia's level at least increased since the Canelo fight. So it's like Berlanga he leaves more to be desired. He hasn't beaten anyone that even between the level he's been fighting in Canelo. He hasn't even beaten a B fighter to me yet. So I'm going with Canelo in this one.
Sure, you still there?
Man, this and just my opinion, fellas. This fight's not even worth mentioning. I mean, I'll be surprised if this dude makes it past round 7. He's not nowhere near championship level, and he got this fight based on Canelo's unwillingness to take on tough challenges anymore, and the fact that he's really popular in New York. That's why he got this fight, but there's no other reason. He's not going to survive. Canelo's going to knock this guy out anywhere between, 5 and 7. This is a trash fight. I'm definitely not paying for it. And, I'll watch the highlights on YouTube.
Sound disappointed, sir. Go ahead with my guy right here. Sound like you it's like an obituary. So he says, aside from it says, I got Crawford late though, Pitbull, TKO, and Ruiz. Says I can't call Anderson and Bacoli because I haven't seen much on Bacoli. Yeah, that's supposed to be an interesting matchup as well. As far as Canelo, the Cinnamon Man, cash cow of boxing, he received a little bit of backlash for the fight, for this selection. He's also, like Vail mentioned, stripped, of his IBF title. Shame on the IBF for stripping, the cash cow of boxing. This is one of the biggest sporting events that's going to take place. You got Puerto Rico versus Mexico. That's always, one for the ages. You got two markets that's going to clash there. It's going to pay for this fight, so it should do pretty good numbers. So when it's all said and done, when we started this out, now, if we talking about deserving fighters, like if everybody was on the same page as far as who is everybody's fighting the best, then I would be upset with Canelo. But guys are not doing that. So I can't be mad with Canelo for making this decision because I can see the play. Canelo, we're going to see in a second, David Benavidez is concentrating on 175. So he's going to be there. So that's not I cannot duck you if you decide to go ahead and move to 175. But, however, sir, if you decided to stay at 168, and again, I'm at the point in my career, I hold the cards. I've, again, paid the cost to be what is known as the boss. By me doing that, you're going to have to pay me for what you say. You're the people out here saying that this guy is supposed to be the most dangerous fighter. I want to see the most dangerous money put up for me to face this guy who's supposed to be this big threat to me in my career. If you don't put the money up, I got other options. I can go over here and fight this guy. If I want to go to the UK, I can go to the UK. But Crawford is successful. I can fight But Crawford. I got other options, man. It's not like I have to fight you. You ain't going to make me do anything. Not at this stage. I'm still going to come to the fights. I'm going to have my silk pajamas on and all type of stuff. And I'm going to be with my beautiful lady. And we're going to go ahead and, have a good time. You also, if you want to check me out, I'm on a golf course over here in Mexico and places like that. If you just want to, check out, just have a view of me. If you want to go ahead and try to attempt to take a picture or something like that with me, I may charge you. I'm not sure. But I'm Canelo. You're not. You understand what I'm saying? So if I'm going to get paid, if I'm going to fight, I got to get paid for the different type of fights I fight. This right here, I expect this type of money because this is this type of challenge, according to you. If I fight this guy right here, I want this type of money because that's the risk, according to you. So I think that's where Canelo is in his career. And, I stand by Canelo. I'm not mad at Canelo. I'm not one of these guys going to bash him. This right here, as far as the quality of fight, no, it's not. But it's going to be exciting. Berlanga brings an exciting style. Just like a lot of people want to see Tank Davis knock people out. His trainer says that. They asked him, was he going to fight Shakur Stevenson? The man said, that's not what we want to do because he's not, he's not going to allow Tank to do what he wants to do. So if he's not going to fight Shakur Stevenson because he doesn't like to let him do what he wants to do, then why he can't do what it is he wants to do? That's why I don't get it. So, Canelo, man, if that's the game that's going to be played out here, you've done a lot in your career already. I've seen you take risks. So go ahead and play the game. Milk the game, man. Don't let the game milk you. Also, McGee, he joins Top Rank. He said, man, I'm going over there because I'm setting my sights on the Canelo rematch. Do you think that's a smart move for
No. That's the reason. He ain't gonna get a Canelo rematch just because he signed with Top Rank. That's just.
And I'm sipping on this is apple juice. So don't be thinking I'm over here sipping this.
It is like 3 over there, but yeah, yeah. So him signing with Top Rank, I don't think that has any bearing on whether he gets a Canelo rematch or not. Now, I can see Top Rank doing a good job of rebuilding his career, you know what I'm saying, and putting him in there with do what Top Rank do is match him well and making him look like something more than what he probably is. But I can't see that garnering him a Canelo rematch. But if his plan is just to build himself up as a fighter, I think that's a decent move. It just won't get him the big fights that he wants because who does Top Rank have around his weight? You know, they don't have anybody, and PBC is unwilling to work with him. So all the champions and big fights are with PBC. So
I'm gonna tell you something. You know what this is?
Mm-hmm.
This is like a fella who's trying to break up with a girl or a girl trying to break up with a fella, and they coming up with an excuse as to why they're trying to break up with. You know, dang on well, that don't make sense for Top Rank, like for him to get the rematch mess with Top Rank. Why would you sign with them? He's just trying to get out of Oscar. Like he done with Oscar, I think. That's just my take on it. What about you, Sean? What you think? Was it good for the kid?
I tend to agree that Jaime is just trying to get away from Oscar. Because going to Top Rank does not guarantee you or even put you in position to get a Canelo fight. You see, Berlanga got the Canelo fight, and he had to go to Madrimov to get that. Am I right?
That's what I would think. I think if you're gonna go like for Canelo, then it's probably like Madrimov, somebody like that.
Yeah. Exactly. He had to go to Madrimov to get that Canelo fight. So I don't know what Jaime's thinking about. Hey, more power to it. I don't know who you're gonna fight at 68 on Top Rank because they don't have nobody. I just don't see it. It makes no sense whatsoever. But hey, you know, some of these guys in boxing, they may know a little bit more than I do. So we're gonna let Jaime do what he does and see where it gets him.
Yeah, I don't get it. I can't even get out here and make some. Like I said, the only thing I can see is if he's just trying to get away from Oscar, but it would be in his best interest to sign with Matchroom because I think you would have more options, more opponents to propel you and put you in a position to be able to face Canelo or just even to be able to get a belt. He might be able to get, well, you know what? Which belt was that Canelo had to relinquish? Was the IBF? If it's the IBF, then
Yeah, that was the IBF.
Okay, now maybe Matchroom, not Matchroom, but Top Rank is saying you come with us, then we're gonna go ahead and line you up, you know, for a fight for that belt. You know, maybe that's the case, but we'll see, man. We don't have time to be sitting up here trying to figure out what's going on with old Jaime, even though I like his offensive prowess, man. Also on the card that's gonna take place, it's gonna make this a blockbuster card, bro. You got Landy Lara, they call him the Dream. You got Danny Garcia is not a possibility, is going to be the co-feature. And according to Bovada Sportsbook, is looking like it's an even fight going into it. Some people are favoring Danny Garcia, but he's been off like Ruiz for about 2 years or 3 years. Landy Lara is about 52. So what do you guys think about this matchup, man? You like it, you know, for the card?
I didn't like it at first, you know what I'm saying? But now it's like the more both guys age, I mean, the more it equals up. The only concern about Danny Garcia is he hasn't even proved himself to be that formidable at 154. And you up here fighting Landy Lara at 160. So that's the part I don't like because you have Danny Garcia who is fighting at 160. Plus he's the counterpuncher in this fight. So he's going to wait on Landy Lara. And Lara is actually, while aging, he's been on the road as far as he's been more aggressive. He's been more of these banging fights. So I will favor Landy Lara in this fight by decision. I think he's going to be more active still than Danny Garcia. Garcia's going to wait too much.
Mm.
Well, let's look at Danny's career. Right? He was great at 140. Moved up to 47. He beat an aged Robert DeCoste Guerrero. But every other big fight he's had in his career, he lost. Am I right?
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I agree that he lost big fights according to the scorecard. But what I don't agree with is if anybody tells me outside of this fight that he lost those fights convincingly. Outside of that Spence fight, when I'm looking at the Sean Porter fight, very close fight. Keith Thurman fight, split the skin. You know, only time I say the kid beat down was against Errol Spence when he got that accident, but that was more Errol Spence. That wasn't the guy in posture, you know. But anyway, turn it back over.
Well, I don't know about anybody else, right? But for me, close only counts when you talk about horseshoes and hand grenades. That's the only time close. Close don't count. You lost. Do I see it going different at 160? No. I think Lara's going to beat him, even at 41, 42 years old. I think Lara's going to beat him because Danny has slow feet. Danny box a little bit, but I don't think his power is going to translate. And I think his feet are too slow. I think Lara's going to style on him and get a unanimous decision, 12-round decision. I don't think that Lara wants it. But Lara could walk him into something. But I just don't see it. I think Danny got a beard. And I just think Lara's going to outbox him and beat him in 12-round decision.
I mean, I always thought that that's how I was going to play. The fact that some people was giving like Danny that much of a he's a favorite, and I like the fight. The only good thing for Danny is the fact that Lara is a small 160-pound fighter. It's like you're not fighting one of those big dudes. You're not fighting a Triple G or somebody like that. You fight somebody size-wise that you can. It's not going to be physically imposing. That's the only thing. But as far as style matchups, I just think it's horrible because, again, you made the point that he just doesn't let his hands go enough where you can convincingly give him the nod in a lot of his big fights. And that's why he has such the close losses. Like I say, in some of those fights, he could have very well won. You know, when I was at the Keith Thurman fight, I could have sworn based on my, view that I saw, where I was sitting and based on, when I calculated the rounds that could have went either way, the Sean Porter fight. I thought Danny won the fight personally myself, but he's not fighting those guys. This right here is Lara, who's sitting down his punches a little bit more. He might be able to back you off, might be able to hurt you a little bit. And on top of that, being somebody who's slow-footed, somebody who doesn't have a high work rate, you've been off 3 years. So I got the dream, Lara, styling on him, profiling, looking real good. And, shout out to Danny, for an illustrious career, but the buck stops on September 14th. Couple other things, man, before we wrap this one up. David Benavidez says, this is what I'm saying, man. He's setting the sight on undisputed light heavyweight championship. So how can Canelo be ducking somebody who's standing at 175? He can't. But I'm going to go ahead and keep going. So here they're saying David Benavidez, this would be an even fight according to Bovada Sportsbook, but it says the light heavyweight fight that fans want to see. So let's go ahead and make that fight. Now, I'm going to tell you this, though. I'm going to ask you fellas, who do you favor in this fight? Because according to Eddie Hearn, he says Morrell will be favored against Benavidez. Do you agree?
I think it's 55-45 in David Benavidez's favor. I think I test David Morrell's off the charts, but he hasn't beaten the level of competition to lead me to believe that we know more about David Benavidez than we know about David Morrell at this point. So that's why it's a close fight based off of even their actions. because normally I would say that if David Benavidez was in a rush to fight David Morrell, or always would mention his name, I would favor him more. But because there's a hesitancy to fight David Morrell, that's what makes me believe that this fight is a closer fight than I would think initially.
Okay. I don't know if we still got show, but I think that going into the fight, Benavidez definitely has to be the favorite. Like you said, 55-45 is cool, maybe even 60-40, just based on experience in the upper echelon fighters that he's faced. Caleb Plant, he's beaten, guys like Dimitri Andre. He just fought guys that, Morrell hasn't faced anybody. I would think that if Morrell faced David Lemieux, like that would be like a big name on his resume. Like it'd probably be the biggest name on his resume. The guys that he's facing, I don't know those guys. But like when he's beating these dudes, like they're just top 20 guys, maybe top 25. But when you start stepping your foot into some of the top 10 that work up there, especially like the top 5 dudes, like a Caleb Plant, now you starting to impress me. You know what I'm saying? Like you rubbing elbows against the best. And if you can go ahead and look like you've been looking against the other dudes, then you saying something. I just don't know. Because I think that once you go ahead and put the man in deep waters, once he started getting some offense coming back at him, how he's going to handle it? You understand what I'm saying? So I would definitely have to favor David Benavidez in a fight against David Morrell. But as far as talent, he's talented, but you got to fight, against the tough guys in order to know actually where you are. Don't just be styling on, Anthony Can you digging Yiggins. You got anything on that?
Anthony Can you digging Yiggins?
That's what you're facing, man. I think showing up out of there, man. Jamar Charloville, he's announced his return. Think it's too late for him, or you think that he still got a shot?
I mean, it's never too late. It depends on him, man. If he get his mind right and is 100% right, I think it's not too late. He's not too old, but we gotta see more. We gotta see him get his mind right. I mean, it's hard to think of a guy who's undefeated, but it's hard to even favor him over anybody right now because it's like, I know he has a strong chin and he's very, very talented, but his mental, what's going on with him mentally it's worse than Jamel losing to Canelo. I think it's worse for his career. His win over Jose Benavidez, even though it's a win, just the mental issues that came with that and it's going on around that. I think Jamel Charlo is doing better in his career with that loss to Canelo because at least he has a chance to redeem himself. So it's never too late. Hopefully the kid gets his head on straight because I think he does have a lot to offer.
Okay. I'm not going to add on too much to what you said. Now, the last few things right here, man. We got Gervonta Tank Davis's camp. They're ready to send a contract to Shakur Stevenson. Also, what was mentioned this past week, Kenny Ellis, who's a part of Gervonta's team, they said that the Stevenson fight, would be cool for November. But also, I want to throw this in there as well. So you can touch on any of this that you please. So they're saying that possibly November, would be a time for Tank to face Shakur. But then also Pitbull is eyeing a Tank rematch, but he must first get past Rayo of Venezuela. Which fight do you think is more likely to happen in November?
The Pitbull Cruz rematch. I believe that contract when I see it. And the chances are going to have something in there where they paying Stevenson like $1.5 million or something like that. I got to see it. Like, boxers talk a lot. Teams talk a lot. They say all this stuff about contracts and all this and that. Where does promoters in that? Because it's the promoters that do the contracts, right? So where are the promoters? Well, what are the promoters in this? What are the promoters saying? So I think that's more important than what these fighters are saying. So I think it's very, very likely that Tank is either going to fight Pitbull Cruz or he's going to fight what's my man name who got the belt?
Barachik.
Yep. Barachik.
So let me ask you this though. So how would that? You think that would be possible? Because Tank Davis, he wouldn't be facing Pitbull at 135, I don't think.
Well, Tank can move up and down. He can go to 140 if he want. I can see that. I see Pitbull actually moving down. It's not like Pitbull is this big dude. You know, he probably can make 135. For the money, catch weight for the money.
That probably would be the more likely scenario would be a catch weight, but that would seem odd because of the fact that you got so many other guys at 140 that he could have faced, and that he just seems like he's picking on the same dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if I'll only go up to face Pitbull Cruz. You know, when you got a Teofimo up there, when you got, other champions, even when he went up there to fight against Mario Barrios, and you had Josh Taylor at the time was in pound for pound talks, like top five pound for pound at that time. You know, now we seen Josh fall off after that, but I'm saying in that moment, you decide to bypass who was considered the best, who was, I want to say he was undisputed at the time. If he wasn't undisputed, he still had one belt or something like that to get, but he had most of the belts at the very least, and he was at his apex, and you decided to go ahead and fight Mario Barrios and drop back down to 135. So see, to me, that just would look bad. But again, I'm looking at it through my lens. I don't know if that would necessarily register with the modern day fan base, you know, because it's a lot of views and opinions out there nowadays that fester, that it used to bother me, and I used to get irate and upset, and I would fire back at people. Now I just have conversations with them, you know, and then just try to understand their views and opinions. And if you're going to make this claim that this is what you want, then I just go by their logic, and I make points based on their logic as opposed to how I want things to be. Because right now we're not in the business of, and I hear some people say, well, so-and-so doesn't deserve the fight. Deserve today in 2024? Like, nobody's getting what they deserve, because if everybody got what they deserve, then we would have a lot of guys like will be facing each other. You know what I'm saying? That they are not fighting each other. So that's the way I tend to look at things nowadays in 2024, because things have definitely changed. You got a lot more fight fans who talk about, well, he doesn't bring anything to the table. And that's the last thing we'll say, Vil, as far as this topic is concerned, right? In the past, if I had it my way, like I know a lot of true boxing fans, and they kind of turned off and they watch other things, or they just don't watch boxing. It's because of this. See, what would have happened, like now, all of this Tank trying to rematch Pitbull, he could have did that like right after, when Pitbull, you know, when they said that Pitbull, like a lot of people saying that he did more successful than other people. You know how like Floyd did with Madonna? Something like that. If you would have did that right then and there, because it's in your heart, you saying the dude was successful and this and that, yeah, let's go ahead and rematch. That would have made more sense then. But now you got, okay, you was trying to get Loma 6-7 years late. He don't want the fight. Like, Loma's a dunker dude. He a ducker too. Like, we ain't gonna say he's not. But Loma doesn't want the fight. Who's the next best guy? Who's probably better to fight than Loma? It's Shakur. See, in years past, that's what you will want to see. You'll want to see Tank Davis's power, his skill. You want to see that against Shakur's skill, which is his elusiveness, his ability to stay right in front of his opponent in the pocket, that cat and mouse game. Which skill set is better than the other skill set? Nowadays, you try to have that conversation with people, they're like, well, you don't have to fight him. He can't hit him. He'll knock him out. Why should he face him? He doesn't bring anything to the table. No, that's you as a fan. That's not what you're supposed to be talking about. You're supposed to be talking about, you want to see that, you know, different styles clash against each other, see who's the best. But anyway, I digress. Anyway, so I wanted to talk about Errol Spence, man, and the fact that he doesn't have a trainer, and the fight with Sebastian Fedor is off. I haven't seen any concrete news on this, so I went with what I see as far as what Errol Spence is talking about. So he's saying that after Fedor, then he wants the Terrence Crawford rematch. Do you think that would be in his best interest to go ahead and attempt to do that?
I would take one more fight before that, but I think him beating Fedora, that's a good look. It's showing that and how he does it. If he stops Fedora, especially let's say he looks great and he stops Fedora in like 7 rounds, I would say yeah, do a Terrence Crawford fight. You know what I'm saying? So for him, it's really redeeming himself in the eyes of the public. So
man, forget the public. Man,
redeeming himself in his own eyes.
Yeah, man, I know that got to be painful to take the L that he took against Terrence Crawford, especially the manner in which he took it. Now, the other thing to that too is okay. So he's successful against Fedora if he is. All right. Now, I don't know. Oh, let me ask you this. This is the last thing as far as Errol Spence. Who do you think? So Errol it looks like he doesn't have a trainer, which seem like it's going to work well for a fight that he's supposed to have in like October or November. But who would you like to see to take the reins of his career now if he's not going to work with Derrick James? Who would be an ideal trainer for him?
It's hard to say because let's say he takes him and Tank got beef, so he can't take his trainer. You know what I'm saying?
What about Robert Garcia?
I can see that. I can see that. I can see. What about Ronnie Shields?
Mm-hmm.
He did a good job with Jamal. It's really on Jamal that's having these issues, and Jamal still winning. Ronnie Shields. Sugar Hill, there's trainers out there, But go ahead.
Now, what if you get with Nacho Bernstein?
I can see that too. I mean, because Nacho Bernstein, he loves to teach skill. It's just that for Arrow, I think would still need a fight or two to just get acclimated to that trainer. Because he's only known Derrick James. So,
what about Kenny Porter?
I don't know anybody that Kenny Porter's trained outside of Sean. So,
there's not a lot of good, like I ain't gonna say good train, but it's not a lot of known commodities out there like it used to be before, like good teachers and stuff like that. Like you had the Eddie Futches and Manuel Stewarts and Nasir Richardson. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, he just rattled them off like just like that.
Why do you get with Bread Man?
I don't know.
That just puts him in conflict with J-Rock. Well, J-Rock is at middleweight now, so.
Yeah, Bread Man is a smart guy, man. Who outside of Philly do Bread Man really work with? Caleb Plant?
Yeah, that's what I think. I know somebody. Yeah, Caleb Plant.
Yeah. Well, we'll see, man. Shout out to Arrow, man. Hopefully he'll enter the ring next time in his next fight, not his brother sneaking up in there on it. All right. And then last but not least, man, I think this is it. You got Daniel Jacobs. He announced his retirement. Do you think that based on what he's done in his career, that Daniel Jacobs will make it to the Hall of Fame with his credentials?
No, I think he falls short. I think he just needs a few good wins for him to do it. But he has a great story though, and shouts out to the kid. And I wouldn't be mad if he did make it, But to me, I think he left a little to be not by fault of his own because he lost years off his career. But I also think there's fights that he could have taken, or let's say one of those victories. I mean, one of those losses he would have won. I think he would have been a sure lock.
Probably like one of the Triple G's or Canelo or somebody like that. If you'd have got one of them.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, man. You putting a little damper on my main man Danny's career.
No, I'm not, because if he makes it, I'm not going to argue against that. But I'm just going by what his accomplishments and what he did in his career.
Yeah, it all depends on the criteria. I don't know. I got to look and see who made the Hall of Fame, and then I think it's a lot involved. one thing I do know about Danny Jacobs is that every time that I've seen him, he's always been a class act, you know, and he's overcome adversity as far as his battle with cancer and overcoming that. And then I damn near cried, man, when he beat Peter Quillen, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, once he had that opportunity, it was like they kind of wrote him off after that fight that he had with the Russian. You know, he ended up getting knocked out, but then he lost that. Then he found he had cancer, had to come back. And so just like a road back. And then it was just to that moment and to win a first round knockout. And so, and I was watching the Olympic team today with, what's his name? The young fella, Ant Edwards. And so I don't know if you saw the game today, but KD was killing.
I heard about it. Yeah,
he couldn't miss. But anyway, Ant Edwards, he looked up to KD. And so you can see the look on his face when KD was killing, that he was just so happy and excited to see his hero, you know, putting in work. Now, I wouldn't go as that far as to say Danny Jacobs, like looking at him like that. I just was always a fan based on his story. But to be able to meet him when I went to the Porter and Berto fight, you know, that was an honor and a pleasure, because what I thought of Danny Jacobs, I can see in the flesh. You know what I'm saying? This well-dressed guy, this classy dude, you know, was right there, and it was right before my eyes. So shout out to Danny Jacobs, man. You know, always seemed to be a solid guy, you know, every time I seen him in and outside the ring. If you make the Hall of Fame, you know, I'll be supportive and happy to see that. If not, you know, you're just on the cusp of making the Hall of Fame because, you know, of your tenacity, your skill, perseverance, you know, everything that you want in a fighter, man. So shout out to Danny Jacobs. All right, last words, Bill. Anything you got, man? You know, good weekend of boxing. You know, shout out to the GWOT. I also want to, the fight card that they had was really excellent. As far as what was that? The Chisora? No, their fight card was good. The GWOT fight card was good. But then next week we're gonna have an illustrious fight card. So I can't wait for that. And then the other thing I want to say is shout out to Scotty for coming through. You know what I mean? That's always an honor and pleasure to see him. And then Shelton, man. You know what I'm saying? Shelton did his thing today. He did his numbers. You know, Shelton, he run out of gas a little bit. He kind of like, you know, who's some of those guys that fight like good up until the middle part of the fight, then they kind of fall off a little bit.
Zab Judah.
He's Zab Judah. You understand what I'm saying? So we're going to start calling him Zab Shelton Judah. He did his thing for the first, you know, 7-8 rounds. You know what I'm saying? Any last words you got, good brother?
No, sir.
All right, man, go ahead, man. I've been talking a lot. You know what I'm saying? I deserve my vacation. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm going to let you close this out.
All right, man. So, Will, man, good talking boxing with you, man. Enjoy your vacation out there in Thailand, man. I know you're going to take a lot of pictures, have a lot of fun, man. We only get one life to live. So, shout out to you. For all the listeners, thank you for being here with us and supporting us, man. So we'll see you next week. Peace.
Definitely. Big fight card, man. And that was apple juice right there. That's all it was.
Okay.
All right, peace out.